And this episode of the Big Ass Cornhole Podcast is proudly sponsored by Dragon Bags. We talk about it every single week because they made us better throwers just by owning them. Being in their presence makes you a better thrower. So why don't you just hop on that old bandwagon and head on over to dragonbags.com and pick yourself up some heat today. Drop code BIGASP12 at checkout. It's going to save you 12% off that order. 12 whole percents. So take advantage now. Go over to dragonbags.com. Pick up your drops today. Code BIGASP12 at checkout.
Let's do it. All right, welcome back to the Big Ass Cornhole Podcast. Sean and Dane are with you as always. What's going on, man?
Not too much. Just, having some nectar of the gods.
Oh, yeah.
Ready to undertake this
Yeah,
recording.
so ACL Teams season, ACL season in general is like
It's
right
here.
right around the corner.
Yep, here
Few
we go.
days away.
Right back into it.
Few days away. All right, so we have a lot to get into. Dane, do what you do best every single week. Let the folks know what we're drinking tonight in our favorite segment called What You Drinking?
What you drinking?
Well, I said nectar of the gods. So that's gosh darn Miller Lite.
Mm-hmm.
Can't go wrong. It's a great Monday night beverage while you're watching some foosball. So figured I'd bust them out for our recording here this evening.
Thanks, Dane.
No problem.
Well, folks, we have more audio gold planned for you as always. This week, like we said, this Saturday is going to be the first open. They're going to be doing the ACL Teams Draft, so we're going to do Teams deep dive.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna do my best to get involved in teams this year. I want to try to follow it along. So we're gonna make our predictions. We're gonna go over all the new format stuff. Make our predictions on who might get picked. We'll go over draft order, all that kind of stuff.
Beautiful things, Sean.
Do have a dramatic reading.
Ooh.
And then we're going to be joined by Team Swag Bags, okay?
Swag.
Chauncey, all right? And ACL rookie Tyler Stratton are going to join us. And Tyler's going to announce his new pro partner.
His buddy.
His buddy.
His new
His new bestie. His new
Yeah.
pro bestie. All right? But before we can do all that, we're going to let you know what's going on in our cornhole lives in a segment we call In and Around the Hole.
Are you too good for your home? Answer me!
Okay, so
What'd you do, Sean?
after we recorded last time,
Yeah.
I was like knocking on death's doorstep for like 4 days.
Yeah.
Dude,
and it took a turn real quick for you.
Dude, I woke up Tuesday morning and I told my wife, I'm like, I might go to the clinic.
Yeah.
And she's like, and I don't go to the doctor, right?
Mhm.
And she's like, seriously? I'm like, I don't know if like I just fell asleep. Maybe I like with my mouth open, I was snoring, but like it was just a little sore. It wasn't enough to like really complain about, but I've had strep throat a bunch in my life and it just kind of worried me. And my daughter had it a week and a half ago. So I'm like, I don't know, maybe it's just in my head.
You started polishing the doorknobs.
Fast
with your mouth
forward,
again.
fast forward. I'm just gonna skip right past that. So fast forward to like 11 o'clock. Talk to my wife. I'm like, I'm not gonna go. Like I'm feeling fine. I took Advil. Like my throat's better. Like we're good. And then probably 15 minutes later, after I hung up the phone, I started getting the chills.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Like, I'm not good. I'm
Oh,
not
damn
good.
it. So I ran over, got the test. Sure enough,
Yeah, you're like
strep.
this.
By 1 p.m. that day, I was full blown like 102.5 fever. Just like miserable, and I'm like, I have to stay till at least 3:30. And there's this lady I've been trying to give this brace to for like 3 months, and she kept canceling. I'm like, I got to get rid of this fucking thing. So I
need
sucked it
her
up.
money.
That drive home was the most miserable experience of my
Dude,
life.
nothing's worse than knowing you're sick and you have to drive home like
Oh,
from work.
dude.
There's been several times that I've like had to pull over and like yarf in my car driving home if I like got sick at
Oh
work
yeah, dude,
before.
it's rough.
One
man.
time I had food poisoning from a food truck that we had ordered.
from a food truck.
Yeah, and it was like half our workforce was like KO'd. It was bad.
That's
but,
nasty. That's so
anyway,
crazy. We don't bring them
different
back anymore.
story. Still have food truck Wednesdays,
But so I finally started feeling somewhat human again. Like I would say I was probably 80% on Thursday.
yeah,
Because Thursday night, you and I went to go see Tom Segura
that
in Cleveland.
we did, sir.
And what a great freaking show.
Dude,
If you've not seen,
what a treat.
If you haven't seen stand-up comedy before, like
Yeah.
live, you gotta
All right, so first off, arena show. I
Yeah.
was skeptical. Awesome.
fine.
They put on a great show.
Oh yeah.
Secondly, arena show. Cheaper seats.
Mhm.
Like no brainer.
Yeah.
It was we had good seats in my opinion.
Yeah, great seats.
I mean, again, you don't need phenomenal seats for a stand-up comedian. No. You've seen him 1,000 times before. So yeah, it was to me, like, I would 100% go to another stadium comedy show.
Oh, yeah.
I recommend it to anyone because honestly, if they're doing stadiums,
Yeah.
they're funny.
Oh yeah.
Like,
It was.
duh. But I think stole the show though was a new favorite comedian. I
Yeah.
can't even remember her name though. It's something Jansen.
Yeah. Correct.
What's her first name?
I can't remember.
Hang on. Hold please. Hold please. Oh my god, of course it went away.
Always does that.
Yep.
This, as you can tell, like this is
It's off the
this is
cuff.
kind of
here,
this is
folks,
kind of
so
like
this
our.
is what we do.
This is why we don't talk before we record.
Yeah.
We're like, let's just turn on the mic.
Jordan Jensen.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Yes.
Yes.
She killed it. She was the opener.
She murdered it to the
Yes.
point where like I felt like the Tate, and was it Andrew
Tate, yeah.
I felt like he was nervous going up there because she murdered it so hard. So
Yeah.
But then Tom Segura definitely brought it home.
And then this weekend you were up for Pumpkin Fest.
Yes, went to the great Pumpkin Fest out at Southern
And you
Tier
didn't bring
Brewing.
anything back.
It's not that kind of festival.
Okay.
This is you consume there.
Okay.
And that is like an understatement of the century because you consume a lot there.
So what was your favorite? Still
All
the
right,
caramel?
so they had I didn't have a caramel out there.
Oh, okay.
So they had 3 new exclusive flavors.
Okay.
They had butter pecan,
Okay.
maple,
Okay.
and chai.
Was butter pecan just awesome?
Didn't like it.
Really?
It was way
Okay.
too buttery.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maple was phenomenal.
Okay, I can see that.
And then my favorite was the chai because
course
I
it would
love
be.
the chai tea pumpkin, and this was just straight chai.
Okay.
Like I loved the taste of chai. It was very strong chai, so there's no way that's going to win the taste
Just when we thought
challenge.
he's
But
gonna go straight on us, folks.
I just I don't drink chai tea ever, but I just like the flavor of chai.
Okay.
But close second was definitely the maple. But
I don't even think I could tell you. Like, you could give me chai right now,
yeah,
and I would not be able to tell
I think
you.
you'd
like,
enjoy
oh, that's
it.
the taste of chai.
I think you.
I couldn't even begin to tell you what it would taste like.
It is a unique flavor, but I think you'd like it.
Crazy. Saturday, I
yeah.
went to my daughter had a birthday party to go to.
Oh, nice.
Awesome, right? But this one was at remember old Laser Extreme, Middlebrook Heights.
What?
So it's upgraded now,
Yeah.
right? So it was there. So I was trying to explain Nora.
Did
like,
you
what,
go and play?
Hear me out. Let me
Okay.
tell. I'm building up to
Sean,
this moment.
all right, I don't have time for this stuff.
So I'm telling Nora on the drive over like what laser tag is. She's a little confused. I'm like, it's
Mhm.
kind of dark. It's gonna be like you're gonna have this gun and you just point the gun and just press the trigger and just like if your lights go off, just run away. And then as soon as your lights turn around to shoot anyone else with lights.
Yeah.
You know, just kind of and then you can watch them on screens.
Mm-hmm.
So me and Todd are watching AJ and Nora go through the first time, and I could just tell right away she's miserable. She finally finds an adult, and so like just standing by the adult the whole time. So she comes out, and I could tell she's crying, and I felt like such a dick.
Yeah.
Because like I didn't know if like parents were supposed to go in or not,
Mhm.
and like only like the dad of like the birthday boy like went in. So I'm like it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
So she came out and she's like, they did teams and I couldn't find anyone. And like all these boys that are like older were like ganging up and like they were just like surrounded me. And like every time I light, like they were just like shooting me. And she's like, and I started crying and then they finally ran away. So I'm like, all right, I want you to point these kids out to me. And there was 2 birthday parties going on at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll call them Red Team. Okay.
Okay.
Red Team had typical like dad who is probably a prepper. All
Okay.
right. Loves this stuff, like lives for this stuff. And all the boys
Hang
that
on.
were.
Did he wear cargo camo
Yes.
pants?
I
I
shit
can
you not,
already
Dane.
spot him. Yeah.
I shit you not.
Bald head, goatee.
No, he had
Alright,
hair, but
alright.
I was shocked it wasn't braided or something.
Okay.
You know what
yeah,
I mean?
fair enough. Because next question was either bald or long.
Yeah.
Like I don't really know if those are in between there.
So and like all the boys there were probably like between the ages of like 10 and 12.
Okay.
Right, so a little older. This was a 7-year-old birthday party. So you can imagine like size difference and everything. And I was with a ragtag group. And I hadn't been in there in 20 fucking years.
Yeah.
Gone into like laser tag. So the first time I go in there, just kind of feeling out the layout and stuff.
Did
and
you
we're getting-
remember any of the bonus shots? Did they have
They
any
took
of those?
no,
there?
they took that away. So it's straight teams event.
God.
It's either every man for
We
themselves
used to
or it's
destroy
teams.
that shit.
I know.
We'd know all the crystals to shoot.
I was trying
get
to
you
tell-
bonus points and all
Exactly.
this stuff.
So we go in the first time we get annihilated, right? But
Yeah.
I didn't realize that there was a second story. And I would walk in this one room, creep around a corner. I kept getting shot. I'm like, where the fuck am I getting shot from? And I finally look up. I'm like, oh, I'm like, Nora, how do we get up there? She's like, it's up those ramps, but it's kind of steep. And like, I didn't want to, I wasn't trying to do
It's
that.
scary.
Yeah.
It's dark.
So
It's
I'm
scary
like,
to
all
me.
right. So we ended that match going up there, circling. Dane, game 3, I pulled all the troops in. I'm like, listen, we need some teamwork here if we're going to try to win this thing. And I told Nora, I'm like, you're going to stay right on my hip. And I'm just going to tell you which way to shoot. And I just want you to shoot. And we fucking dominated. It was so much fun. The one dad was like a camper. Like the one like loser dad was like hiding around the corner. So the first time like he got me, I'm like, are you seriously camping? What a fucking loser.
Yeah,
like,
I play COD.
yeah,
I know
like,
what camping
come on,
is.
God. But it was fun. It was took it way too seriously, but I loved it. I told Nora, I'm
Those
like,
are the best moments.
so
though.
Nora, you gotta understand, like, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna win. And if we're gonna win, like, you're gonna see a different side of Dad. So just stay on my hip. All right, I don't want to lose you. So just aim. So I took first overall. She took 6th.
Hell yeah.
Because I'm like, Nora, what's gonna happen is I'm gonna shoot them. They're gonna go blank, and we're gonna kind of go by them. As soon as they light up, fucking
Hit 'em
pop 'em.
again.
Yep,
But yeah,
double tap them.
taking it a little too far is like my wife's family's like MO.
Yeah.
Like every family game we play, like it goes.
I love that though.
Yeah, it gets intense. It's really funny.
Like our wives sometimes, or like at least my wife gets a little uneasy with it. Like when she plays game with like me, you, and Dad, I'm like, you just have to understand, like we're still gonna talk to each other after this, but in the moment, like I want to beat them.
It's funny in that dynamic because there's a lot that aren't very athletic, and then there's a few that are athletic,
Yeah.
and then there's like me,
Yeah.
and then they're like, yeah, Dane's like the sneaky, really athletic one. So like I'm always the first one picked in anything. Like pickleball, I'm always the first one taken. Kickball, first one taken. Every single time, and they're just like, all right, whoever gets Dane is usually gonna win. So draft Dane, and then we'll figure it out from there. I have always had teams of like all the girls and little kids.
Yeah,
We'll still win.
I mean
Dominance.
that's the best.
But they get so angry.
Oh yeah,
I love it.
oh yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
But I can understand the intensities. I had just no golf, no cornhole, nothing this week.
Really?
Just a relaxing weekend. Went
That's
out to the
kinda nice,
lake and kicked it. It was good.
Sorry, 1 second.
And then coming up, I do have golf planned. Speaking of which, can you golf Sunday morning before foosball and whatnots?
Possibly.
Okay.
Val might be working, so if that's the case.
Well, let me know. I was going to go a little bit later because one buddy, Adam, was going to join. So
Okay.
we'll figure that out. So you guys get to hear our plans and everything in real time as we talk about it. But all right, I think that's enough about us. So we, I guess like Teams Draft is here.
Yes.
Open 1 is
Sure
here.
is.
So I guess the ACL postseason is just donezo.
Yeah.
So here, what are you doing with your phone?
I'm trying to find. So I'm blanking out, and I feel like such a dick. So there was what was the name of the big tournament that was in like New Jersey? The one that Harbaugh won.
Who cares?
Well, I wanted to bring it up because we didn't bring it up last week, and I told them I would bring it up, and I'm blanking out on the
Oh my
fucking
gosh.
name.
So it's a great dead air.
Well, you can talk too. I mean, it's
I'm trying.
Okay. Sweet. All right,
Yeah.
thanks. So, okay, I can't do one thing. So there was a big. I want to give a shout out to the cornhole cobbler. All right, he gave me the whole rundown. We're gonna. It's not gonna fit in this episode. So I promise you, we're gonna get to it. We're not skipping over it. So, anyways, all right. So ACL team stuff.
Yes.
Seasons starting this year. I don't know if they're doing like that rookie combine again. I know they tried it out last year. I haven't heard anything about it.
I haven't heard either, but
It wouldn't surprise me if they had it.
is it necessary?
I mean, it does help some of like the unknown guys that might be really fucking good, like to be put on a radar.
Yeah, I just feel like in the community's so small now that there's not really anyone that's gonna blow it out of the water that we don't already know their name of. Right?
Yeah, is the teams draft?
I think it's Friday.
I think it's
is what
Friday
I
as well. That's what I was
was
going to try
posted.
to look up here.
Yeah, I think it is Friday.
Oh, it says this weekend. So, I thought I saw something for Friday. But all right, so each team. So there's 16 teams again. That is not changing at all. Just like last year, each team is allowed to have 2 captains. They have a main captain and a co-captain. The main captain is not allowed to be traded. The co-captain is susceptible to being traded.
Okay.
Along with those co-captain, each team is allowed to keep up to 4 players. And then the whole roster itself. So they'll start most teams are every team starting with 6. And then they're going to fill that roster with 6 rounds in the draft or less, depending on trades and stuff like that. And we're going to go over that in just a second. So they're going to end this with 12 people on their team. They can roster up to 15.
All right.
They can roster up to 15. They have to have at least 2 women on the roster. And one of the women has to play in the format, or in each match. And you can only roster 1 elite player at a time.
Okay.
All right, so that's all like the kind of the nitty gritty. Like,
So you have to have 9 pros at least each time, and only 1 ACL elite.
the ACL elite doesn't have to play. You can only have 1 ACL
1 on your roster.
on your
Okay,
roster.
I
Correct.
got you. Okay.
You can have up to after the
I
draft.
thought you meant you can only have 1 start.
Correct. You're going to have 12 people on your team after the draft. You can add 3 more and get up to 15.
Gotcha.
But again, at the end of the season, payouts and all that kind of stuff, that's going to matter.
Yeah.
So going into this season, it's going to be the same thing. They're going to have a draft. They're going to have a snake draft. So why don't we go over the order real quick? Just scroll down just a little bit.
Alrighty.
So
There
the
you go.
draft order is first pick is Michigan Marauders. Then you have the Virginia Cutters, the Georgia Sliders, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
The California Slingers, the Chicagoland Spinners, the Texas
Bully baggers.
the Colorado Timber, the Pennsylvania Ringers, the Kentucky Colonels, the Ohio Aviators, the Arizona Burn, Las Vegas
High rollers.
Very good, Dane. Carolina Coasters, Missouri Mays, the Florida Freeze, and the New England
Woodchucks.
Woodchucks. Correct. Okay, so what I did was they
Hold
also
up. St. Brown just threw you a touchdown. 2 golf.
Thank you.
Look at that.
God,
That was
I did it.
just
Let's
rolls
go.
reverse. That's
God,
funny.
I needed that.
That's
And
funny.
if you were listening on Patreon or you happen to watch our video and you caught that early rant like about fantasy football, like I apologize, but it's been a rough year for your boy. And I have Goff, I'm around St. Brown, and I have Metcalf in this game. And I just needed some magic. And we just had some magic. So all right.
That was a
Let's go.
fun little play.
Piecing it together. All right. So anyways, they announced the pro list just yesterday.
So I had an idea of us just reading off every single pros
All
list
218?
in this episode. Well, no, then you have to include the juniors, the seniors, and the women's.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. That's true.
So
There is some overlap, but yeah.
Be
So-
a long list.
ACL Pro list this year, and we've talked about it before, but they're going to have the ACL Pro division that went out. 218 applications went out.
Mhm.
There are some people that haven't signed. I'm assuming there's going to be probably some attrition, but it seems like 218 is where they want to be at.
I think you're right.
So whether they fill that right away with an elite player or they're just going to kind of leave that spot open, 218 seems to be about where it's going to be at.
Would it
So-
make a difference if they would just because like if they're backfilling with elite anyways, why would they fill it with an elite player?
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Yeah, so I mean they're only keeping 45% of the players from this year in that pro circuit.
Yeah.
They also have a ACL women's pro circuit. They have a senior pro circuit, and then you have a junior circuit. There is some crossover in each of those.
Yeah.
So if you're one of the 218 and you qualify for one of those other divisions, you can then also be eligible for that.
Indeed, it's gonna get easier next year. I feel
So
like,
the
to
main reason
remember.
I bring that part up is because in this draft, you're only allowed to roster 1 elite player.
Yeah.
But every other one of those pro divisions that we just talked about, whether it's the pro, you have the women's, seniors, or juniors, you can draft any individual out of any one of those groups.
Yeah.
And there's no limit. Only you have to have at least a minimum of 2 women. All right. So that is going to come to play. So I was looking through the team constructs of who I think it's kind of smart. Like, let's start with who each team is keeping first.
Yeah.
All right. So go and pull that up first.
Here we go.
It's going to be
Oh, is this back up here?
Yeah, keep going.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the first one. All right, so we're going to start it off in the American division in the South. You have the Virginia Cutters. The captains of this team are Logan Chamberlain and Justin Stranger, and then they're keeping Leston Allen, Jacob Gore, Sammy Soto, and Lexi Hugeback. Initial thoughts on just the core 6 people going in there, like entering this draft.
I mean, love the captains. Name power isn't quite as strong as some of the other teams we have coming up. I think it's smart that they kept 1A female.
I completely agree with that. I think that as a core 6 players, this team has no business finishing in last place this year.
I agree.
I'm going to put it there.
Yeah.
So if especially with this new format, we'll go over the format after we go for all the teams. But with this new format, I mean, you're getting to put out 6 studs every match.
Yeah.
You gotta, I don't know. To me, it's like you gotta put up or shut up now. Like you have the talent there. You have six out of your 10 players, and then you're gonna have a top 2 pick. So you know what I mean. So you're gonna add 7 players out of those 10 are gonna be really good players.
They should be able to.
They should be able to do something.
Win some stuff.
Next team down is Florida Freeze. Captains are Alex Rawls and Matthew Sorrells. And then the returning players are Cheyenne Bubenheim, Blaine Rogier, Alan Rawls, and Chris Kingsbury. Now, that is what we like to call Murderer's Row.
I was going to say the exact same verbiage and everything.
Man, that is a really tough team starting off the bat. And then there was a trade, and we might as well go over the trade right now.
Yeah, that's fine.
The Florida Freeze, along with those 6 players we just said, you can add in Fisher Hamilton.
Yes.
All right, so you add in Fisher Hamilton. That is a really strong 7 players.
Now, do they... So that works, though, that they get to keep him and not cut anyone else off of this list?
Yes, because they gave up draft picks.
Okay.
So they traded him for their first and second round draft picks.
Gotcha.
So the Ohio Aviators will have Florida Freeze first and second round draft picks.
Okay.
All right. So then we go down to so I mean right now, Florida Freeze on paper to me, with Fisher Hamilton added to this group, I mean that is a really strong start right there. It is. It's on paper again, but that's why we play the matches, right?
Yeah.
Is it smart to go over the format now? Like, does it make sense? Like, as we're breaking this down, like why we think it's smart?
I mean, you want to just stop right in the middle?
Just real quick. So format stuff. I know it's kind of crazy, but I guess I should have done this before. They're changing it up. It's no longer just a bunch of doubles matches round limited. You are now having 2 singles matches, a doubles match, a tandems doubles match, and then a crew cup match.
Sean, what's tandem doubles?
So if Dane and I were playing as doubles team, we would throw on the same side of the board each time. So it's basically crew cup is just half. And you just walk back and forth.
Well said.
So I think that just looking at having 7 people already, right? You're basically just the rest of the people you're picking up is like, hey, can you play crew cup?
Yeah.
Can you handle, like, cause it's round limited. So really if it's 12 rounds, so can you handle throwing 12 bags?
Yeah.
A match. Like that's what we're all asking you.
That's all we're asking.
I mean, that's a really good start right there. So, all right. So the next team up is the Georgia Sliders. The captains are Ryan Smith and Cameron Belvin, who, interestingly enough, she's the only female captain.
Okay.
Returning players are Ryden Wiedenfeld, Terry Mathis, Bobby Hunt, and Trey Hunt. Name power alone, what I find interesting is they have already 2 elite doubles teams there.
True.
Right? Or what you can do is you could always have Ryan Smith and Ryan Wiedenfeld. They could be your 2 singles guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be interested. I mean, you could have Cameron Belvin playing singles as well.
Well, see, that's where I think like the format kind of plays into it, because maybe in this case you attack that first. I don't know. Maybe you attack that very first person as a singles guy.
Because I think as a
just
captain,
really good at singles.
You want to have at least some idea of like, okay, this is who I'm feeling as I want as my doubles team.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby Hunt and Trey Hunt have played together before. They've had success before. It makes sense to me that like they could be. I would think probably they're doubles, not necessarily tandem.
Yeah.
Because at least that's kind of what I'm thinking. I think in singles, then you got Wiedenfeld and you got Ryan Smith, or you could just have them as you could go tandem with those 2.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like there is some variability with some of this stuff. So I mean, it's going to be interesting. I think that their first pick is important here.
For sure.
Like I think they need some firepower in this lineup, but again, Terry Mathis is no slouch either.
Mm.
I'm just trying to figure out, like, I think if they add one more piece,
I'm
they're
thinking
going to have
he
a
might
lot
be
of
the sneaky singles guy, to be
Yeah.
honest with you.
I think with Ryan Smith being a captain, if you add one more really good player to this roster, it gives you a lot of variability and a lot of like you can change up these ideas and
Yeah.
like just try some stuff out early just to, and find out what works.
For sure.
All right, last team in this in the American South is the Carolina Coasters. The captains are Jamie Graham and Eric Davis, and the returning players are Frank Modlin, Tommy Slicker, Chad Hunt, and Berkeley Pear. Now, to me, it's super interesting. I think that right away you keep Hunt and Slicker together
Yeah.
because they had such an amazing
they
season
put
last
together
year.
a phenomenal year.
You just make that's your doubles team.
Yep.
And then you got Graham who could play singles, I would imagine.
I
and
think
then
Davis
probably-
that plays singles.
I would imagine so too. And then you could even have Berkeley Pear and Frank Modlin as like your tandems. Or if it falls at how I think it's going to, and if they end up drafting like Trevor Brooks in the first round, you could put Berkeley Pear and Trevor Brooks as a tandem.
Yeah, just talking trash that close to each other,
That's what I'm
right next to
saying.
the other team.
Right?
I mean, that would be entertaining.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's a mental game. That's a
and
nice
then
little
Frank
start.
Modlin can just be the captain of
Yeah.
Crew Cup and be like, just follow me to victory,
Yeah.
boys. Let's go.
Correct.
I like it.
Right? It kind of just falls in
But
line
yeah,
like
this
that.
is the first team name power wise that I think comes close to Florida Freeze.
For guys that know their stuff, yes, I would
Yeah.
agree. Because a lot of people would look at like Chad Hunt and Tommy and no shot at them at all. But like they don't get enough love for
Yeah.
how good of a season they have. I'm looking at this, I completely agree with you. I think like on paper, they're probably they would probably be second to Florida.
For sure.
Now I'm interested. Who would you put third? Would you put in this division? Because again, only two of these teams get to make the playoffs.
I know.
So this is a tough division. So who would you put, Cutters or Sliders over?
I mean, I think at the start, I'd probably put the Cutters.
Okay.
Just because I think Sammy Soto coming into a sophomore year, Jacob Gorey another year older, and then Logan Chamberlain's only gotten better.
I think this team is going to look so much different with their first round pick
Yes.
because I mean, it's got to be Jackson Gore, right?
Yeah.
If Virginia Cutters pick Jackson Gore, then you have Jacob and Jackson Gore who could either play tandem, they can play singles for you. I mean, that's just right there. That just blows it open to me.
Because then I mean, you could also have Soto Chamberlain be your tandems or anything. I mean, they could clean each other. I was actually
no,
thinking,
I think you go Chamberlain and Soto as your
with
singles.
this core, this is what my thought was actually. Stranger Allen as the tandem.
Yeah.
And then you have Gore Soto as your doubles team. Chamberlain and maybe Lexi as your singles, but I would probably use that first pick to try to get your solidified.
I think if you're
single.
taking Jackson Gore, you were saying Jacob and Jackson, you're going to play doubles together.
Well, again, if he's there,
He's going to be there. They have the second pick overall.
I know if he's there.
He's going to be there.
I'm Sean. You can't predict the future. Or did you already spoil it?
I'm not spoiling anything.
Can you tell
but
me
yes.
so I could put some money down on my Vegas picks?
Like if they have picks on this, then I need to know about it because I would like to place money as well. But yes, we'll get to this. All right, so that is the South, American South.
American Division South.
All right, so now we're going to go
Division.
to the American Division
North Division.
The New England Woodchucks. Captains are Jeremiah Ellis and Jimmy Humans.
Never heard of her.
Returning player, which one?
Both.
Returning players are Alec Ryan, Zach Scheibner, Hunter Thorson, and Jacob Trzynski. It's a really good starting team, man. Like that's, I mean, again,
It
you
is.
have
It's kind of a hodgepodge, though.
you have a lot of variability. I was kind of thinking about this earlier. I think that right away you have Ellis and Trzynski as your singles guy, and then you let Humans pick who he wants to play with. But I think stylistically, I think Scheibner and Ryan kind of
That's
play
true.
well, right? And then you have Humans play with Hunter as a tandem
the
or
tandems.
whatever route he wants to go. But yeah, I think it's a very good starting point for them.
Yeah, I mean, I like their start. Again,
Now,
there's a lot of
again,
ways I could see their team
we are
working.
forgetting one person. They did add somebody. So they traded a second and third round pick to Kentucky
That's
for
correct.
Ryan Hart.
For Ryan
So you're
Hart.
all of a sudden you're adding in your Ryan Hart again. So to me, this changes all of a sudden. So if you add Ryan Hart on this team, I think you probably put Ellis and Hart as doubles, and like that's just hey, we got this.
Yeah.
And then you can put Trzynski and Humans as your singles, and then Ryan and Scheibner as your I'm thinking as your
Yeah.
tandem.
As a tandem.
I mean, again, that's a good start, right?
Again, like I look at their team and I feel like there's a million different combinations
Correct.
that you could actually have work.
Yeah,
but
they have adding Ryan Hart there, and first of all, Kentucky. I mean, Jesus Christ, make him work
Get a
for it.
first-round
I mean,
pick for
Ryan Hart not
man.
worth a first round pick. Are
Yeah.
you fucking serious right now?
Yeah, the last 2 seasons he's had. Come on now.
I mean, and no shot at Fisher, but like Fisher got a first and a second.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, tip of the cap to you, Trey Birchfield, for that trade. I mean, that's great. I mean, you got the value. I think getting Ryan Hart for a second and third was an absolute steal because then they still have a pick in the first round.
Exactly. So they're going to come out with 8 right off the rip, and then
And
sure, they missed the
we'll
third
touch on
round.
it when
Oh,
we
well.
go like through our predictions. The next team up is Michigan Marauders. The captains are Jordan Power and Jeremy Schermerhorn, and the returning players are Joe Neestat, Sarah Cassidy, Jaden Ellis, and Empher.
Again, I like this team too. Smart of them to keep Cassidy. Again, Woodchucks were the only one that didn't keep a female. Oh, and Coasters.
And the nice part is with Marauders is Jaden Ellis is now he signed his junior pro card. All right, so he's going to be competing in the junior, so he doesn't lose his college eligibility.
Okay, so he did officially sign that.
His junior.
Okay,
Yes.
because there's still like an asterisk.
There,
next
yeah,
to his
but I
name.
think he's going to be doing it from what I've heard. So he's going to be doing just the junior, so he can still do the whole college stuff, which is an awesome opportunity for these
for
guys.
sure, yeah, absolutely.
So
Take
for him
advantage
not to
of
be
it.
counted as an elite player is awesome. Again, just you got Schermerhorn and Neestat. Yeah, you got to either do tandem or double with those two.
Yeah,
You got Jordan Power. You got Jane Ellis has got to be your singles guy,
Mhm.
and then I'm assuming probably Power as well.
Power, yeah,
Now, interesting, they have the first pick in the draft.
for sure.
There's an individual that's no longer on a team because he left last year, but now he's coming back. His name is Air Rubin, or Jay Rubin, as you might know him as.
Yeah,
So I'm assuming Jay Rubin's probably going to be the first pick in the draft. If that's the case, all of a sudden, then you have 2 powerhouse doubles teams, right? You have Jay Ellis' singles guy. I mean, you're adding Jay Rubin. He can be singles. He can do doubles with Jordan Power. You have Jordan Power and Jay Rubin play singles for you. I mean, they're setting themselves up very nicely.
Yeah.
I like their core of 7 guys because Empher, again, is very underrated.
oh, for sure.
I think you could put Empher and Sarah Cassidy, and I think that their styles,
Honestly,
I think they could
thought
play
they
great
were
together.
like to me tandem.
Because
That's
they
what I
used to be
was
pro
thinking.
partners, did they not?
I think they were. Yeah.
Like 2 years ago.
I think
So I think
so.
that just works out very well.
Yeah, and I think they, like you said, stylistically, yeah, it makes sense.
You know, I think you just tell Jaden, like, hey, you're going to play singles for us.
Yeah.
So we'll figure out who else is going to play with you.
Hey, do you mind grabbing me a beer?
Sure.
Appreciate it.
You want to read off the Ohio
Of course.
Aviators?
Ohio Aviators are up next. Captains Noel Manza and Trey Birchfield. And then their returning players are Gavin Cano, Fisher Hamilton no more, Bella, and then Carson Getty.
So this is where it gets interesting for Ohio, is that you trade away Fisher Hamilton,
Yes.
but you get a first and a second for him. So it just means that you got to nail like this first
your
round.
2 picks, yeah.
Yeah. If you can replace Fisher with 2 people that you feel like can truly contribute, and you're going in and you really like your core 7 guys, then I'm okay with it. It's tough to look at this because with Fisher on that team, they're one of the better teams, I think.
For sure.
You already have the female box checked with Bella, who is super versatile. She can play doubles or singles.
She's
really
one of those
good.
that we're waiting for, too. I
Yeah,
still
correct.
feel like she's
Carson Getty
best
is
user
again.
ever.
He could be a singles guy
Yes.
for you. You have Noah Monza, Trey Birchfield, Gavin Cano. I mean, like it's
For sure.
Interesting.
It's just again, I like their name power. A lot of different combinations with this one as well. So like it's kind of weird to peg, especially missing Fisher. Those 2 pieces, like you said, so integral that like you can't even think of what they're going to try to start off with at this point.
I'd be interested to see because remember Ohio did trade for Fisher. I think or did they trade for Gavin? I think they traded for Gavin.
Yeah.
So they do like the partnership stuff. I wonder if they'll let Gavin just play singles, or will they try to make a move and go after like somebody like a Soto?
Potentially, but again, Soto's. I mean, he's actually kind of deep on a list too. Yeah, I don't know.
Interesting.
Ooh, jinx.
All right, so
Hello.
Pennsylvania Ringers, we have captains are Devin Harbaugh and Justin Burton Jr. Returning players are Gage Landis, Tubby Cobb, Matthew Creekiller, and Elizabeth Tennyson. Again, just a very solid squad. It depends on what Creekiller shows up.
Yeah.
If we have the Creekiller from 2 seasons ago, this team looks really good because Gage Landis is one of the more underrated players.
Yeah.
And who just keeps getting better every season.
And
He
Tubby
finally got
Cobb's
over the hump and wins the
looking like
national.
the best Cobb right now. I mean,
Yeah. Devin Harbaugh does Justin Burton Jr. I mean, you don't really have to say a whole lot with that.
Yeah.
I mean, those could be
They're
your singles
pretty.
guys.
They're pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're. And
They're all
Tennyson has been a top, 5 female player in the last 2 seasons. So, I mean,
This is a team though where I would almost wonder, do they try to make a trade for like Scheibner?
I don't know. Like to me, it's
Isn't
like
he also a PA guy? Like
he likes Pittsburgh.
he likes Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Which isn't. It's close enough.
I
They
guess.
got to have something in
I
there,
guess.
in their corner, right?
Thank God they didn't make Pennsylvania Ringers black and yellow.
Thank God.
Thank the Lord.
They're like, oh wait, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
No, not
No.
another one.
All right, so out of those 4 teams, 2 of those are going to make the playoffs. Who do you think? Just off those,
Right off the rip,
it's.
I mean, I like the Aviators, and I am being biased because I like their potential.
I want to
with the
see
2
who they
draft
get
picks.
in this. Yes, I want to, but I want to see who they get.
But again, I'm going to put them there because
Okay.
I believe in them. The next, I mean, how do you not like the Woodchucks?
I kind of like. Yeah, I mean, listen, Michigan looks a lot different if they draft Jay Rubin,
Yeah,
but again, there is something to be said about guys that have been there and done that a little bit. And
but like, it's always the question: do they care about teams enough to like
I-
come out and perform? I feel like a guy like Jeremiah Ellis never likes to lose.
yes,
I feel like Trzynski is very much the same way.
I'm not arguing with
They
you.
don't care what they're at, but
Yeah.
again, you never know.
This is what happens to Pennsylvania every year, though.
Mhm.
Right? We're like, you're like, I don't know if I really.
Then
like
all of a sudden they're
Yeah.
like,
But
Man,
it is
nobody saw
a
us
different
coming.
format now, though, which is
It
going to
is.
change. I do think that's going to play a big factor in this. I think it's going to favor the teams that are like very top heavy.
Mhm. and it is hard to speculate without the full get here. So
For sure.
we'll see what pops up.
All right, so we got the national division.
West Division, National Division, West Division.
Yes, correct. In the West, we have the California Slingers, who the captains are Tony Smith and Corey Gilbert. The returning players are Ricky G, Dean Norton, Philip Lopez Jr., and Kyle Malone.
Wait, Kyle Malone's coming back?
Apparently so.
Man, crazy.
Weird.
Yeah, I think again, this is a team that fun to watch. I feel like.
Yeah, and again, they have some variability. I mean, it depends on like guys like Dean Norton. Does Dean Norton play like how he started off last season? Just
Yeah.
gets red hot, and him and Corey Gilbert are
Cooking.
vibing, and like things are great. I mean, it's always your team always looks better with guys like Tony Smith on it.
I like that pairing to be the tandem.
Yeah.
Just
I
because
can
I,
see
think Corey close to anyone is just good vibes all the time.
Yeah, for
so.
sure. Yeah, they're a very solid squad. Next team up is Las Vegas High Rollers. We have the captains are Tanner Halbert and Hunter Thorne. The returning players are Kaylee Hunter, Easy, Jordan Kamba, and Cody Henderson.
I mean, if this was the
It's like a
team of
throwback
4
team.
years ago, like my God, watch out.
Kaylee Hunter would be like 15.
Yeah, but still, it's still today though. I mean, I love the team. I mean, I hope this team is very successful.
Again, but like what Kamba do we see? What Henderson do we
Yeah,
see? What
exactly.
Zockline do we see? You know what I mean? Like
Well,
if these guys are all firing on all cylinders,
We
then
know
we're
Cody's
okay.
going to come out and do Cody this year. I
Yeah.
think he's primed and he's going to work at it. Tanner's Tanner, Hunter Thorne is Hunter Thorne.
Yeah.
Those dudes. Yeah, there's a little question marks on 2 people with Easy and Kamba.
Yeah.
But again, that could be your tandem.
Yeah, it could be.
I mean, didn't they throw together last year?
Yeah.
They could just join together again and see if they can work something out. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, they're a team that's like boom or bust.
yeah.
I feel like
I would honestly put Kaylee in singles in this. I'd probably put Kaylee and Hunter Thorne in singles, and then let Tanner and Cody rip as your doubles team, and then I'd have Hunter Thorne.
I think you like
Or
Cody.
I'd have
Go Cody
Zockline
singles.
Yeah, but I think him and Tanner would actually have good rapport in doubles. And there's an argument to be made that Cody's had more success in doubles.
Yeah, that's true.
I think he's really good at locking in on one side.
All right, so you have Arizona Burn. The captains are Chris Roybal and Landon Crabtree, and the returning players are Jeff Reynolds, Colby Shearer, Derek Holland, and Corey Morrison. So a sneaky team here.
It really is.
Again, not a team that jumps off the page, but if you pay attention to how
It's
last
hard
season
in
went,
the order you read it in, too.
Yeah, so Chris Roybal, obviously rookie last year, burst onto the scene, ended up the season, I think, a top 20 player.
It's pretty good.
Phenomenal season. Jeff Reynolds, you know what you're going to get. You know, it's steady Eddie. Derek Holland is arguably a top 15, top 10 player in the world. You put him in doubles, and he's a top 5 player in the world. Corey Morrison is, again, steady Eddie. I think you put Corey and Jeff together and just let those two mesh and just have at it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, they could let it run for doubles, but I mean, Derek Holland in doubles, though, is just.
I hate to say it like this,
nasty.
but Arizona feels a little behind the 8 ball.
A little bit.
Because they have a later draft pick as well. So I think, again, their draft is going to be very crucial.
But they overperformed last season.
They did. Again, they're a vibe team. Again, I'm not counting them out. We love Corey Morrison. We think very highly of Chris Roybal. You know what I mean? And Derek Holland's a stud. I mean, they could very well be just fine.
Just fine.
All right, we got the Colorado Timber. The captains are Adam Hissner and Ryan Trader. What a weird pair that is for co-captains. Returning players, we have Ian Cripps, Caden Allen, Connie Altice, and Caleb Ledenka. I don't know what to think about this team, man. I think right off the bat, they're way behind the 8 ball because Caden Allen has not been quite as good as he was as an amateur since he's turned pro.
Yeah.
Ian Cripps is a stud, Ryan Trader, and Adam Hissner. We're not arguing that at all. Connie Altice hasn't quite lived up to what we thought she was going to be. We thought she was going to be the one that could really rival Cheyenne for a while.
I mean, we've said that about a lot of females, though.
But she's really kind of fallen off.
Yeah.
I'm not really familiar with Caleb at all. So I'm
neither am I.
So I'm not gonna lie. I feel again. So if I had to pick the 2 teams out of this group up here, I'm probably picking Las Vegas and California right off the bat, I think.
Yeah, off the bat, I mean, I would take California as the 1A, then Vegas right behind them.
All right, so then we have the Central Division in the whatever division.
National Division, Central Division.
Yes. We have the Missouri Maze. The captain is Ethan Walker and Stephen Bernasette, and the returning players are Cedra Herrera, Ryan Windsor, Vincent Frisch, and Alex Hicks. This is a very nice little start.
It really
is.
These guys. Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to remember. They have a pretty late draft pick, I think. Can you click over to the draft list real fast?
But they don't necessarily need it. Yeah, they're toward the end right here.
Okay, and then are they one of the teams? Yeah. So they need a female player.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see. I think they'll probably wait to the second round to grab a female.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't shock me though if they went somebody like a Miranda Coy here.
Yeah.
Just one of the better female players that's available. I don't know. It just seems
that
because remember you have to start at least one female every time you go out. You don't want that hand. It's like you don't want a shitty tight end in fantasy football.
For sure.
Sometimes it happens, but if you can avoid it and get a premium in that spot, it does help.
Yeah. No, for sure. I agree 100%. It would make sense.
But
honestly, where she's at with who's left, it's not a horrible pick right off the rip.
I mean, they're loaded with talent, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great. I think you put, probably Bernasette and Herrera together, right? I mean, I know the easy one would be Windsor and Herrera just because of their history, but I don't know. It just feels like stylistically they could work.
That's what I would do.
I think you let Ethan Walker go crazy in singles and shit, maybe even Baby Goat. Just let the dude play singles.
Yeah, you could.
Right? I mean, let him figure it out.
And I was thinking even Bernie in singles with Walker because I think Bernasette can just slide bags in and annoy the hell out of people in round limited stuff.
But again, I really like their start. Adding one more piece in the first round will do them wonders.
For sure.
All right, so then we have the Chicagoland Spinners. We have captains are Mark Richards and Nico Morales. And then returning players are Frank Verona, Zachary Engelken, Sebastian Schaefer-Ford, and David Morse.
So not crazy amount of name power.
You have a lot
But
of guys. You have some question marks, right?
Yeah, but
So
still
obviously
pretty solid though.
your biggest question mark starts with Mark Richards,
Yeah,
right? If Mark Richards comes back and he's like one of the top 2 players in the country again, all right, you like your team a little more. You have some variability because then you could put somebody out in singles that's probably going to win. Nico is a solid player, but had a little bit of a down year compared to
Little
years
bit.
past last year. Frank Verona is a player on the rise. He's kind of up and down a little bit, but he's super talented. Zachary Angleton, again, he's someone like reminds me, not his throw style, but just he's always in the mix. He's like a Corey Morrison.
Mhm.
Like his name's just always kind of there now,
Yeah.
and he's kind of solidified himself.
He's a
as,
winner.
Like, exactly. He belongs like in the pro
for
circuit,
sure.
and he's super nice dude. And it's like tries to promote the crap out of like organ donation and all that stuff. He's one of my favorite interviews we've ever
For
done.
sure.
So
Yeah, he's
super cool dude.
awesome guy.
Sebastian Schaefer Ford, I don't think gets enough love, and same with David Morris after the season he had last year.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I was getting at. Like, it's really not too horrible because
It's tough
Morris
reading
had
them.
a
It's
better,
tough reading them after the maze,
Yes,
right? I
very
think that's
true.
what's going to hurt. So, the next team down is Kentucky Colonels. We have the captains are Matt Guy and Justin Rule. The returning players are Brett Guy, Damon Dennis, Samantha Finley, and it was Ryan Hart, but is no longer Ryan
No
Hart.
longer.
Replaced Ryan Hart with a 2nd and 3rd round pick. So right off the bat, because they got rid of Ryan Hart for a 2nd and 3rd round pick, regardless, I just don't see them being able to fill up enough for somebody like Ryan. I just don't.
I mean,
You
there's an
you
argument
really
to
gotta
be made
find a
that
diamond
Ryan
in the
Hart
rough.
was. There's an argument to be made here that Ryan Hart was the 2nd best player on this team at this moment, if not the first.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you at all. I think I would,
just-
if I had to rank them, I'd go Matt Guy, Ryan Hart, Justin Rule,
Yeah, that's literally what I was thinking,
and then Damon Dennis, Brett Guy, then Finley.
and it's just, how do you not get a 1st round draft pick for him?
I don't know. How do you not get more?
Yeah.
Like that they want him. Like
Exactly.
like Jeremiah wants him. He didn't get to play doubles with him this
Yep.
year. He wants him on. He wants his boy on his team. Listen,
Steal.
tip of the cap to New England. It was to me
For
that's
sure.
gonna come back.
Steal
I
the
really
draft.
think that's gonna affect Kentucky big time.
For sure.
Texas Bully Baggers. You have the captains are Eddie Grindersleeve and AJ Sims, and the returning players are Caleb Batson, Braden Wilson, Dylan Turpin, and Austin Waskow. I
mean,
think that
this is as close to Murder's Row as we've gotten, I feel like.
if Caleb Batson is Caleb Batson,
Yeah.
If KB returns to form,
But in this format, even an 80% KB
that's true.
from what he
Yes.
once
No,
was
it's true
is
because
still
if he's struggling, you put him in crew cup.
exactly.
Or something.
Like,
Yeah,
you
that's
can
true.
still do it, and the rest of these guys are
Yeah.
just absolute killers. So
I
like,
think looking at this, it is going to be a very tight race between Texas and Missouri.
yeah,
I think, and it's nothing against Chicagoland. I just think that this division is really tough, and I think you have 2 alpha teams
it really
that
is.
are really going to be butting up against each other.
I mean, can we just say like, I mean, the West Division is a little weak compared to everyone else.
Yeah, because if you're Chicagoland, you move into the other division, maybe you have a slightly
Yeah,
better of a
but
chance.
like, I mean, the North, I mean, killers. South, killers.
all right. So,
Like,
what do you think is the best overall division?
top to bottom,
Yes.
I think the North. South is a close second.
So you are taking the North over the South.
I am, yeah.
Are you just being a little biased?
No,
Okay.
I'm being a lot biased.
Okay. I think it's so close, man. I think
It
you could
really
flip a
is,
coin.
but like, I mean, I don't know. I'm looking at the captains top to bottom. Yeah, I mean, there's killers on both ends, but I think these captains are a little bit scarier.
Listen, we have the reigning world champion. We have the player of the year, Jeremiah Ellis, in the North. So I
I'm
mean, you
saying
gotta
maybe a little recency bias. You
Yeah.
know, that's why.
yeah, we'll go. Yeah, fuck
choosing
that. It's
one.
North,
Exactly.
goddamn it,
North.
go Aviators.
But
I'm
then
gonna
Central's right up in the mix too. Yeah,
For sure.
it's-
So with the draft order, I kind of went down, and if you wanted to pull up the draft, so I kind of went through best available players after the pro list came out, and just kind of marked off everyone that had already been taken. So if you do the math, 16 times 6, 96. So already like almost the top 100 best players in quotes
Yeah.
were taken. So as I went down the list, it does start to get thin, and you start getting into rookies and junior players very quickly. Right off the rip, to me, there were 2 players that it would be dumb if they're not the number 1 and number 2 player overall. Like it just would be, to me,
Yeah.
it just would make zero sense. To me, Michigan as the first pick, it makes 100% that they're going to take Jay Rubin there. And I think it's probably the worst kept secret. As soon as he was announced and they knew they had number 1 pick, you're coming back home.
Come home, Papa.
Come on home. The second pick is the Virginia Cutters. Because they have Jacob Gore, it only makes sense. And I still cannot believe that Las Vegas let go of Jackson Gore.
I know.
That it just shocks the shit out of me that they let go of Jackson Gore. So listen,
maybe he asked.
If you're Virginia, you say, thank you very much. We're in a really tough division. We need all the help we can get. And you can't ask for a better player than that.
Very true. 100%.
You would, next year he's going to be a keeper.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's crazy.
At least you hope.
This is when it starts to get like, I have no freaking clue what's going to happen. So I just tried to do my best at guessing. So I figured this will be an easy way to just bring up some names.
You're pretty bad at guessing too. So
yeah, typically.
We'll see how it works out.
The third pick in the draft is the Georgia Sliders. I was trying to think of who made the most sense here. I think to me, it's probably going to be, I would think it's Austin Cameron. I think he's showed last year how good he is. He's been on the pro circuit. You know what you're getting from him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's no question marks. You know you're getting a stud.
Tried and true.
Stylistically with the other guys on his team, like I can kind of see where he fits in. It wouldn't surprise me if Austin Cameron went to Georgia.
Yeah, no, I could see that.
California has the next pick. And he I don't think he would last coming back to them. And he was on the team last year. He's a junior pro.
He's really good.
Tony Forbes.
Yeah.
It just kind of makes sense that he stays
He's
at
from
home.
Cali, correct? Yeah.
Just stays at home. Chicagoland has the next pick. And this is one I honestly have no idea. I know that the guy that we're interviewing later, Tyler Stratton, has some history with guys like Mark Richards and those guys, right? I know he has some history. But I feel like if I'm Mark Richards and I'm really looking at who had a really solid year last year, who has a good head on their shoulders, who's super talented, to me, I think the right pick for them would be Quinn Reeves.
Yeah, I mean, Quinn, again, we know, you kind of know what you're getting with him already, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, I think he's proven that already.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so then the next pick is Texas. There are 2 players coming out of there are several players coming out of Texas, but they're the top 2 players coming out of Texas. I would be very surprised if the Bully Baggers let Chase Lester pass here, just because
I would too.
He's done very well in the TCL events as of late.
I'm gonna be surprised if he makes it that far.
I mean, yes, I would be too. Again, just with the names, because Tony Forbes has been there. He was on the team last year. Austin Cameron, like Georgia could take him.
That's what I'm already thinking. Is Georgia might be like, yeah, Chase kind of tore up.
I just don't know how much homework Ryan Smith is doing about guys in Texas. You know what I mean?
Gonna listen to this show.
I think that Ryan is familiar with Austin, and I feel like it just kind of makes sense. Like that's where things would end up there.
Fair enough.
The next pick is Colorado. I honestly have no idea where they would go. It depends on who's making the picks. If it's Adam making the call, if Adam's making the call, then it might be something different. But I think if Ryan's a co-captain, his brother is a junior pro this year.
Yeah.
So why not draft your brother and grab Mason Trader there in the first round?
If Adam's making the call, he's going to go with Gary Bearpaw.
Maybe.
I feel like they've had a history for a long time.
Yep. The next pick for Pennsylvania, I think it would make sense if they went a junior player, really good player, Hayden Gonzalez.
Yeah. I mean, again, I can't really speculate on who's going to go where, but I like where you have them listed here.
Kentucky, this pick just makes too much sense to me for them to grab Gary Bearpaw.
Yeah.
Again, he fits right in with the crew. It's what do you call them, the Crusty Colonels?
The Crusty Colonels.
And he fits kind of like in a lot of, like you can put him with Damon Dennis and like they're just like a dream. You can put him with Matt Guy if you really want to. I mean, I'm sure Matt's going to play singles, but yeah, I think he's would be a very nice fit. You don't think Matt would
play with Brett?
I don't know. I honestly, I don't know. In Ohio has the next pick, and I hope this happens. This is me inserting here, Trey, of who I think you should take. If he's available, Ty Thompson. I think either to Chase Lester or Ty Thompson, if one of those 2 players falls there, it makes the sting of losing Fisher out just a little bit. Not completely, because you could have had him anyways and had Fisher.
Yeah.
But it helps moving in the right direction.
But both of those guys kind of have that vibe of they could be the next Fisher rookie.
Correct.
Like have a year like he did.
Correct.
So, yeah, no, I would love to see that.
The next pick is Arizona. Arizona is one of the 8 teams that did not keep a female, so they need to have it. And because Chris Roybal is the captain, I just have a hard time believing that Arizona, out of any team, seemed to be more local proud, right? They try to keep a lot of their own guys in. I would be very surprised if he ended up passing on Gino Ramirez, his former pro partner, his auntie. You know what I mean? Like it makes sense that like you're checking two boxes.
She might not let him take anyone else.
You're checking two boxes there, right? You know what I mean? Like, so it just, to me, it makes sense there. Las Vegas, again, another kind of toss up. I'm putting Candler back there because I'm pretty sure he played for Las Vegas last year. Really solid player out of Oregon. You know what you're getting from him. He's played on the broadcast before, and he's very, very talented. I think right there, that kind of makes sense for me. Carolina has the next pick. If he's there, I think that it would make the most sense to me. And because Jamie Graham has done this in the past, I think they take Trevor Brooks here.
Yeah,
I think
agree.
because of the format change and because you already kept Berkeley Pear.
They want that.
Yeah, I think it just makes sense.
Yeah.
I really do think it makes sense.
And they're great cheerleaders. So, like, they're going to bring that fire.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean.
So you're going to hear this name later on. We interviewed Tyler Stratton, and I think that who Missouri could go with.
Yeah.
Now, you're going to hear in the interview, we do bring up the teams aspect, and he was under the assumption that he was being kept by Michigan. Now, at the time we were recording, Jay Nellis had not decided if he was going to do the Junior Pro Tour. Jay Nellis got the clearance that, hey, you can do this and still be college eligible. So he stayed. So Michigan's like, oh, wait, we're going to keep Jaden.
Yeah.
So Tyler got kind of thrown back in the mix.
Okay.
Because Michigan has that first pick overall and Jay Rubin sitting there, he's going to get passed. Tyler Stratton went 8-0 in the pro qualifier. This kid's really fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that if you're Missouri and you have guys like Windsor and Bernasette, who he's all played against in like that same conference stuff, it makes sense that they know how good that he could be. I think Missouri would be adding a very solid piece to their team.
For sure. No, I like that spot there for him.
Now, the next...
He's another one, though. I'd be surprised if he falls that far.
No, that's true.
Because after, I mean, you go 8-0 in that gauntlet, that's enough recognition for most people to, go pretty high up in this draft.
And this is where, for me, it starts getting weird. Because, like, I don't really know that much, like, the junior people, like the junior players, because there could be some absolute murderers out there that I'm just leaving off. So just for me, after watching the pro qualifier, it would make sense if like a David Brown went here. He's rock steady. He's out of Michigan. And again, this is now Florida's pick is now Ohio's pick.
Yeah.
So if you add David Brown to the roster here, and then you're also going to get a pick in 4 picks, I like your start here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I think David Brown is going to be a very solid player. So I'd be interested.
For sure.
And then the last pick.
I don't know much about him.
He's a really good player.
Yeah.
Last pick in the first round, I have New England Woodchucks. And I just threw a name out there because I saw it on there, and it would kind of make sense.
It would be funny. Like
what if they took Cash Chamness?
Yeah, I mean, the more I think of it, it would be kind of sweet because, like, that Jeremiah would love it.
Yeah.
Now, then the other flip side, the other name you have written down is Miranda Coy.
Yeah, because they do need somebody there.
And I think it's hard to pass up a female of her talent level. But don't they have back-to-back picks right there?
Yes.
So
that's why I put the hash.
Yeah, so there. I mean, I do like if you can get both of those and kind of have
and again,
that little
I don't know. There might be a better junior out there than Cash. It could be Logan Dupler.
And it might not be time for him
it
to
would
go
not
at
surprise
that point
me.
either.
It would not surprise me if it was Logan Dupler either.
Yeah.
Like, I know the kid's phenomenal player, so it could be. I just kind of threw a name in there. Another name to consider would be Matt Wilson, a rookie who's making a name. He calls himself the janitor.
Yeah.
Blowing up all over social media, does a really good job. Adrian Brunson's been there, done that. He's been around. Another female to consider, DLE.
For sure.
I think she's a dark horse in this. I think that if you're a team and you can grab her and you don't have a female and you're like one of these, I think Dia's going to end up falling somewhere up towards the top. I think maybe like Chicagoland or something. They already have Sarah Cassidy.
Yeah.
Maybe California or something. It would just make sense that some team that needs some female firepower.
She's a gamer.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, she's going to scare some people this year.
Absolutely. 100%. So, all right. So that was like our little draft
or spiel
breakdown. So, you want to do the dramatic reading?
In a world where beanbags have brought men to their knees, social media serves as sanctuary for keyboard warriors. Time for the dramatic readings.
addicted to cornhole? Jake Horley. If you could own any ACL franchise team, which one would you purchase and why? Bonus, how much are you willing to invest? This is a pretty lame week on social media, by the way.
But great question.
I was going to read the comment that Jeremiah Ellis left on Jamie Graham about like we stopped posting pictures of bacon and or of eggs and steak and eggs, but we left that off.
Carnivore diet. Hashtag.
Hey, listen, he's down 17 pounds in 2 weeks.
I love it.
Jamie Graham, if you're listening to this, keep killing it, brother.
Hell yeah.
I'd love to see it. Love to see it. So if you had to pick a team, which team would you buy?
I mean, obviously, I would buy the Ohio Aviators.
I mean, it's obviously.
Without a doubt. And I would pay probably $1,000 for them.
I'm not willing to like until I see how the ACL plans to generate revenue for the teams. I'm not in. I'm not going to invest any money.
Yeah,
I'm not.
I mean, I
would I
only
be in
said
for $1,000? Yeah, I would do $1,000.
Yeah,
All right, I did $1,000.
just to have the
Would you do 5?
5,000? No,
Yeah,
way too much. Too rich for my blood. Because again, I'm expecting to just lose that 1,000. Okay, like
fair enough.
it's just same as you. There's no like.
What if they offered us $5,000 and we had the naming rights for a team? Like we could call them the Ohio Big Ass Podcast if we wanted to.
The Ohio ass polls.
Right? We had the naming rights. Would you pay $5,000 for the naming rights?
No.
No? Okay.
Because they did such a piss poor job of doing stuff with the teams last year that it was so hard to follow. I couldn't follow it. I had no idea what was going
Every
on
year,
the whole time.
I'm such a draft honk. Like it could be anything.
Yes.
Anything we're drafting, I love
and
it.
here, like, this is all we did for this draft, Sean. Like,
Yeah.
I'm disappointed in us, but there's no other way we could do it because we're just getting this info now, and they get to keep 6 people. So it's like,
Yeah, I know. It's like, I know.
right.
It's really picking through. And again, like the who's who in cornhole every year gets a little bit less because there's so many good players
Yeah.
that come out of the woodworks and just
Now,
join
if they
on.
cut this thing to 100, do you say start fresh with the teams and only have
Man, I think,
captains?
yeah, man, I kind of do. I
think you
really do.
And then that's when we let it go ho hum. But then after that, it's no more of this draft stuff. I think it's all trades after that. You have teams. That's it.
If this format works out well,
Yeah.
then you can have like 10 teams of 10.
Exactly.
Done.
Done. Look, we solved your problem.
Boom.
Boom. And if you do that and start having better advertisements and get it on something I can actually watch.
I think what's
going to
happen is because they're still going to have they're going to have the 100, right?
Yeah.
But you can still pull from like the women's and juniors and all that stuff. I think they're still going to probably have. I'll be interested to see if they still keep like the 16 team model. I think that it seems like they're kind of tied to that. But will they? I do think that they're going to have to redraft though. I think you have a captain and be like, hey, listen here.
But I also don't think you need to have 16 teams anymore. You just
I'll be interested to see.
Shuffle it up and deal. Let's go.
yeah.
Or
All
just have teams of 5.
You want to cue that rap horn?
Do I ever? That really was a sad thing. What? All right, just one more question.
Okay, please.
On top of that,
Oh yeah,
or
did we
actually,
get any listener questions? Let me look.
check that out. I actually, one thing I forgot to mention earlier because we went on a rant about what we did this weekend. But can I just say how much I thoroughly enjoy watching things like the President's Cup over just a normal golf tournament? Why can't golf be more like this? I know Liv is trying, but the product, like their announcers are just shit. It's so hard to fucking watch.
I watched so much President's Cup this weekend.
I loved every fucking second of that. When Kim came out today and was crying because he heard like American guys were swearing at him when he was like doing his shit on Saturday after winning. I'm like, bro, grow up. It's called cutthroat golf. I love it.
Well, and like at the same time though, like a lot of people were saying like Kim's antics and stuff were an issue. No, dude, that's good.
Yeah,
like,
it's
we
great
need
for
that.
it.
Like
All of it.
Golf needs that really bad.
And again, this should be on the course. You are enemies. At the clubhouse, y'all can yuck it up.
Yeah.
That's the power of sports. Like we've gone through it.
Oh yeah. It was kind of fun to watch like a professional golfer like almost shit the bed. Like Keegan Bradley was up 3 with 3 to go and almost lost. Yeah, geez. Like I wanted him to finish. Like he obviously finished out, got the win, but I'm like, for a second, it did not seem like he was going to only win us a half a point.
I mean, there was a moment there where I'm like, oh my God, are we going to not
Yeah.
win this thing on Sunday? And then
Oh, I know.
we ended up cleaning house in the home stretch, which I knew we were going to do because we were closing out better than they were the whole time.
And
It was
Morikawa
just-
was up like 4 anyway, so
Yeah.
like, we already kind of had it sealed.
and at that point, we only needed 2 points, but yeah, it was just
No, I agree, man.
great product, man.
Completely
great
agree.
product.
Hey, look at us. We made it this far. We didn't even talk about golf.
Man, I had to bring it up though because
Oh,
I
yeah.
forgot, and I didn't play it all.
Yeah, I
so
know.
that's coming soon.
Yeah, I have the itch. I need to get out and play again, so I'm
That's
hoping
what
I
I
can
was
get
saying
out Sunday.
I'll let you know.
Sweet.
All right.
Cue it up. Reach us at Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Big Ass Cornhole.
And Facebook at Big Ass Cornhole Podcast. Thanks again to our one sponsor, the sponsor, Dragon Bags.
Do you see my hat? God,
Look at
if
that.
You're watching on
DB.
Patreon.
DB.
Mm.
Head on over to dragonbags.com and get yourself a great set today. Drop code Big Ass 12 at checkout.
Don't forget about Patreon. If you're listening to this and you are interested in bonus content, if you go to patreon.com/bigasscornhole, for the price of a beer a month, as we always say, you can support us and keep us going. You can get the video version of all the podcasts for the interviews. We put them all up on Patreon. We have monthly happy hours, bag giveaways, all that fun stuff. If you are a new Patreon member, I just got stickers in finally. Like, I love Rockin' Monkeys like quality.
You just have to order them 12 months in advance and hound them.
Dude, I hounded them for like 2.5 months. So
For sure.
I'm going to be working on this weekend, sending all those stickers out. You're not forgotten. Thank you very much for the support. We greatly appreciate you. But go to patreon.com/bigasscornhole, and we greatly appreciate your support. Pew, pew. Pew, pew. All right, so stay tuned. So we're going to be joined by Team Swag Bags, all right? So we have Chauncey, from the owner of Swag, is going to be joining us along with Tyler Stratton. And Tyler's going to announce and then introduce his new pro partner, who will also join us on the interview. But we don't want to spoil it here. You got to go watch the interview. Or if you're listening to the podcast, just stay around for a few seconds, and we're going to be right there.
There you go.
But if you're watching us on YouTube or on Patreon or something like that, you're going to have to go find the interview over on Patreon. So, no free ads.
No free ads.
Hey, how about us? All right. Well, as always, we hope you throw it straight. That's nothing but 4 baggers from here on out.
Cornhole it.
Later.